Who's ready to build a keyboard? I sure love keyboards. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to some Indexing Your Heart development. This week, I want to focus on more of the puzzle side. More specifically, things to do with the Conlang that this game has. For those that may not be familiar, Conlang is just short for constructed language. It's a custom language that I've made not specifically for this game, I'm just happening to use it for this game. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because if we actually kind of scroll over here, let me put myself into this real quick. Can I hide you real quick? No? Okay. Actually, wait a minute. Molecules, keyboard? Ah, that did it. This constructed language, or Conlang, uses a custom writing system, which also means that you can't just use a standard keyboard, i.e. something like this. Where did my mouse go? Oh, there's the mouse. You can't use something like this to type out this language necessarily. So we're going to have to build a custom keyboard so that way when people try to solve the puzzles, they can actually write. Really important. I mean, this also goes hand in hand with the numbering system as well, which is basically just kind of a 5-bit binary string, but not the point. So we need to build this so that way when you go to solve all the puzzles in the game here, you can actually type things. Really important. Now, I kind of did start some work on this earlier. I just wanted to basically port over one of the pieces of code that defines all the keys that are available on the keyboard. So if you're wondering, this is the entire list. Fun stuff. Now we just got to actually get it to do things. I did make a virtual key as well. This is supposed to just basically say, hey, this key was pressed. So I'm hoping that we can reconstruct this keyboard a little bit more easily by just making a bunch of keys and then just sticking it in there, so that way it's not like the keyboard now has to be responsible for emitting a specific thing. But we'll see. Because with this Conlang, things can get a little bit tricky because consonants don't necessarily work the same way that you think they do. Not to mention there are some sounds in here that are represented by a single character. But in the old version, when you typed them, they were actually represented as 2 separate characters. So you just kind of have to be really careful about it. So, custom keyboard time! Let's see what we can do. So I think the first thing is, let me just show you the actual key that I made itself. I just called it basic virtual key. Right now, it's just a giant square. I'm thinking we can reuse this to define the textures instead of having to define them inside like this. You can see that already here, this thing's freaking out. You can see that we have like all the keys. Which the way that I picked them up was by naming them specifically and then figuring out, oh, this one was pressed. So send a signal to say this one was pressed. This one, I think I've made it a little bit more, a little smarter, where you can just define which key was pressed here. And I'm hoping that with this property, we can also change some of the textures. So I think let's do that first. Thankfully, the way that this is sorted out is not that bad. If I were to just open this in the file manager, okay, opens up the default Windows 11 Explorer. Thankfully, I just have these named as focus, normal, and press, followed by the actual key name itself. There are some where it's going to be a little bit tricky, like the ejective K, as well as SH and glottal. Where is glottal in here? Oh, it's the dot, right. So that'll be interesting. So let's at least first start by just getting it to do basic vowels and consonants here. So I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to define a method to reassign the textures. Like this. Right, because I know that I'm trying to remember how we do this actually. Because I think, what is it? Theme overrides, not colors. Styles? Ah, right. Okay. Okay. What is the property for this, by the way? Can we get a copy property path, perhaps? Theme overrides styles normal. Okay. Godot theme? Really? This is interesting. I forgot that this was the way that this worked. I mean, I suppose we could load this theme. That's fine. Whatever. Alright. Then, how do we get to these? I mean, I guess I can probably just do what? Set? Probably? Yeah. Okay. So let's make a new style box texture. Style box texture. Make it a new one. Yes. Now what do we need? So I guess we just need to say texture style dot texture. Okay. GD dot load. Texture 2D, and then res resources, GUI, keyboard, a normal for now. And then we just say set theme override styles normal to be that texture. I think. I think we also need to declare this as a tool in order for this to be visible, right? Yeah. Which means we also need to do this. Dot delete. And then we just need to define getters and setters, right? I kind of forgot how we do that. Don't you do something like this? Return key. And then set. So key is going to be value? No? No? Yeah, okay. Okay. And then we just call assign key textures, I think. And then I think for you, we can just simplify this down to that, right? I've forgotten how to C sharp, apparently. Haha. Joke's on me. Okay. Building. That is a large key. But, I mean, that at least proves that it works. So, that's good. Which means we're also going to need to determine sizes for things. That's good. So, at least we know how to handle that. Which means now we just need to repeat this multiple times for the thing, right? So let's rename this. Control R, okay. Normal texture style. And then we just do the same thing. Var crest texture style is a new style box texture. And then pressed texture style is dot texture is gd.load texture 2D res resources GUI keyboard a press set theme override styles. I think it's just press, right? Copy property path. Yep. To our pressed texture style. Our focused texture style is a new style box texture. Focused texture style.texture is gd load a texture 2D. And we're just going to do the same thing one more time. Res, resources, GUI, keyboard, a focus. Yes, yes, set. Theme override, styles, focus, right? Yeah, focus. To be our focused texture style, and then theme override styles hover to that focused texture style as well. If I can type. What? Oh, because there's just a dot, not a comma. Okay, cool. So then, if we were to build the project, I'm gonna run this current scene, and we'll see how this works. Whoa, big key. Okay, cool. I don't know why the press state is infinite though. That should not be the case. Action mode. Okay, well, we're gonna need to resize the key. That's important. I don't remember what the size of this key was. So I think I need to look at this, because I think we defined it in here, right? Visibility, icon, base button, shortcut, layout, transform, size 112 by 112. Okay. Size is new vector 2, 112, 112. There'll be some cases where that's not the case. Like, I think the enter key and the delete key? Yeah, okay, there we go. Cool. So now the key is not gargantuan. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Is it because it's focused, maybe? That might be it. Boink. No. Why do you do this? Oh, no, don't do that. Action mode determines when this require press to consider the button clicked, and a subsequent release before considering clicked. Yeah? Okay, maybe there's just some weird stuff going on there. I don't know. But that does work. So that's a good sign. Let's see if we can move this into its own thing. So let's do that. What? Oh, I'm hitting Control X, not... Okay. Actually, let's do a thing, right? Because we can do a private struct, I think. Key textures, string normal, string pressed, and then string focused. Okay, and then we just need to do a private key textures for texture for current key. And so then we do a thing. Now, I think with you, we can just use the key value, right? Yes, we can. String key value. Value, thank you, is key value. And then we just need to make return key textures. Yep, new key textures. Normal. Cannot access private field. Why were you marked private? That was weird. How about now? Make field normal internal. Does that work? I guess we can just mark this as internal then, right? Yeah. Okay. Focused is empty string. Pressed is empty string. So normal becomes res, resources, GUI, keyboard, key value, normal.png, and then we need to mark it with the thing. Okay, yep. And then we just got to copy and paste this a few times. And focus, press. And so that's all we need. And then that is it. Okay. So then we just got to say, for our key textures is texture for current key. So then we can say key textures dot normal, key textures dot pressed, key textures dot focused, which controls things a little bit since we can then modify things that we need to inside of here, which is the important thing. So I know, for example, we're going to need to do to upper for some of these. This is going to break on a few cases, but yeah, it's freaking out. If I were to change this to A, yep, B, L, P, very cool. It just doesn't work for delete because we obviously didn't define that. So it's going to be a little bit more crude than that. So we're probably just going to do this then, I think, right? Var key value is key switch. I'm going to declare this as a string to be key value to up. And then get rid of this declaration. Like that. So let me remind myself. Delete is just delete, right? Okay, so ʔaʃaʃat key dot delete just becomes delete. ʔaʃaʃat key ejective k is ejective k, right? ʔaʃaʃat key duplicant is also just duplicant. ʔaʃaʃat key dot repeater is just repeater. Yes. ʔaʃaʃat key glottal is just glottal. ʔaʃaʃat key dot sh is sh. Well, hold on. Don't we have sh for the key value to be... Oh no, it actually returns the IPA. Never mind. So glottal, ejective k, sh. Yeah, and then we need to do repeater as well, right? Oh, we did that. I think that's all of them. We'll find out. Delete. Nice. Okay. Ejective K, working. Repeater. Duplicant. Return is the one I'm missing. Okay. I figured so. I think in here it's just called return, right? Yes, it is just called return. I knew there was one key missing, I just didn't remember what. Return. Nice. Now, some of the stretching is not right, but that can be fixed in post, I think, or just after we assign the textures. So that's good. That means that we can set the key to whatever we want. The texture will apply. It'll signal the correct key. Great. We've made a very powerful key. All right. We're going to do a quick short break because I just remembered that my coffee was still brewing. It should be finished by now. So, yeah, we will be right back. We're coming back. Da, da, da. We're back. Cool. All right. We are back with the coffee, and now we shall continue. So I think we just need to determine which ones, in terms of the key sizes. Yeah, we can do that. Private vector 2, size for current key, which will just be a, I think we can actually just do this, key dot switch. Whoa, don't do that. Switch to be new vector 2, 112 by 112. And then make sure to do that. And then we change this line to just say size for current key. Now I'm just figuring out which ones are the odd balls. That should be straightforward, I think. I just need to look at you. It's just delete and return, it looks like. So what are the sizes for delete and return? Delete is a 160 by 112. Okay. So we have ʔaʃaʃat key delete, ʔaʃaʃat key return to be a new vector 2, 160 by 112. With everything else being the standard square size. Expected. Can I not define multiple cases? Mildly embarrassing. Okay. To the Google. C#. Let's make sure I'm switched to the right workspace. Yep, here we are. C# switch expression pattern matching. Da, da, da. Do I really have to write it or discard pattern? Each switch expression contains a pattern, an optional case card. Yeah, so what is the pattern? Here we go. Patterns. Oh, do I just specify? Oh. Is that it? Ah. Okay. We can work with that. Building. Now, size is still very awkward on you. Okay, so delete looks correct. How about return? Yes. Looks a little squashed. But whatever. A. Great. Okay, so this is working as intended. That's good. So we at least figured out the graphics. Woo! So now what we need to do is we just need to hobble all these things together. So I think we can just simply reuse this. So we're going to just change this type to a control. Did I manually place these in? Oh, that's going to be sad. Let's see if we can be a little bit smarter about this. Delete 18 nodes. Yep. We're doing it. Can I change this to, say, a grid? Is that a thing we can do? Grid container. Yes. Okay. So we're a grid container. So I guess now we're just going to plop in a couple keys. Oh, I don't remember the layout. I should taken a picture of the... Wait a minute. Hold up. I got a real stupid idea. I'm just going to blur this for a minute so you don't see things that you're not supposed to see. Because I made that mistake last time. Sorry to those that were still figuring out Lorelei and the laser eyes, by the way. I have since deleted that stream, so nobody watching back should be able to know that I accidentally did something I wasn't supposed to. Oops. No, that's the original keyboard. I never liked that design. I think it might be this video. Let me check. Or is this just a quick overview of what the world looks like? Yeah, this is an actual puzzle solve. Here we are. Okay, we're good. We are good. Just gonna come back now. Ta-da! Like nothing ever happened. So now we just need to do this. So I already know that we have a few keys, so let's start with that first row. So we're going to need 4 virtual keys. 3 and 4. So this one I know will be a P, and then we have a B, and then a T, and then a, I think that's K. Yes, okay. So I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. Let me set the anchoring here to just be full for a minute. That was a terrible mistake. Five columns. Why you do this? Full rect. Where did my... What's going on there? Oh, is it because of the way that we define the key thing? Full rect, set to current ratio. Where are my keys? Am I gonna have to do something here with the transform? Yeah, the transform's all gone. So I need to define custom minimum size as well. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Custom minimum size is size for current key. And then hopefully that should take care of this. Whoop! No, I didn't mean to run the scene. Okay, that did fix the problem though. We just need to change the U to be a K, and then we're all good. It even provided decent spacing. I like that. So now to go back to the original key layout. We do have an empty on that side, so we will just change that. So I think what we can do is just get away with making an empty container. Container by itself serves no purpose unless a script configures its... If you don't, fine, we'll change it to a node. Okay, and we will just call you empty. Layout, custom minimum size. So that'll force the layout that we want. So let's drag in a couple more keys. 2, 3, 4. So then that's what? N, A, E, glottal? So N, A, E, glottal. And then we just duplicate this empty. Oh man, the only thing that I'm worried about with this is, am I going to be able to cross multiple boundaries with the grid? Is this going to work like Flexbox or whatever? I don't know, we'll find out. Oh, actually, you know what? Instead of doing an empty here, we will just add another virtual key. Because we do have this one that sits in the middle, but I don't think alignment really matters. It only really matters when it just comes to writing. I think we can just keep it modular and just stick it to the grid. Right there. So the next thing then is we have... I forgot what that one was. S, I think? ʔaʃaʃat. Okay. ʔaʃaʃat. Right? Yes. I and U and sh. Oh, this one's adjective K. Yeah, that's why that didn't look right. It's like, wait a minute, why did I put two shs in here? Okay. Very good. Yeah, so we're probably going to have to just add another thing so that way the keyboard just relays each of the messages, which is fine. Because when a key is pressed, it sends back its key code. So all that the keyboard needs to do is just relay the key code back, and then we can use that for text inputs or whatever. So at the bottom, we have a line and then the repeater duplicate. Right, so we're going to need to make a couple empties. Then empty. I kind of want to group these, but I don't think I can. Can I do that actually? Add a child node, just a node, I suppose. Is this going to work? I don't know. If I were to just... Yeah, that actually does work. Okay. It helps keep it organized. And so let's do that again. Row 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just one more time. Oh, but now they're being bunched up. Yeah. So that's a slight problem. Regular node. Row 3. Okay, so maybe let's see if we can just change this instead to maybe instead of a grid, do a vertical stack. I think in here, what in the world do we call it? Container? Not a split container, box container? V-box container. Ay, caramba. Godot was not happy about that. He was like, no, I'm not having any of that. Well, too freaking bad. Okay, well, at least reset me before everything. So can I, like, define a... So, like, if I were to define this... Oh, it doesn't actually mean anything. Okay, so maybe... What if I did just maybe, like, a basic control node? Would this do anything? Layout. This node doesn't have a control parent. Okay, cool. Not sure why that matters. Transform. Yeah, okay. Whatever. So I guess we can just say that I'm gonna also just rename these real quick so I know what they are. T key, and then this is the K key. This is the N key. This is the A key. This is the E key. Glottal key. Ejective K key. S key. I key, U key, sh key. I'll just make another empty on top of that. See if we can make the file system smaller. Just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now we have our another empty. So then, what is the last row again? Okay, so we'll just make another empty. And then we're just gonna create another virtual key. If I can find it. Atoms. Yeah, virtual key. This will be L. Yep. L key. Another empty, and then repeater duplicate. That's how that goes. So repeater, duplicate, repeater key, duplicate, if I can spell, duplicate key. So this is the repeater. This is the duplicate. Perfect. And so then we just need to figure out the bottom here. Just 2 more keys and then we are good keyboard-wise. All right, so this is the delete key. And then this is the return key, which we set to return. And then delete, we'll set to delete. You know, I wasn't quite expecting that. Ooh, okay. I got a stupid idea. Is this gonna work? I don't know. We'll see. We'll make a VBox container. And then we'll just reparent this. No? Can we reparent you? No. Fudge. Okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change the type to a grid. Grid container. Thank you. Okay. Even though it's confusingly labeled as that. So we'll take everything except that last row. Okay? We did that. We did that. Then we're going to change your type. But I'm going to save before we do that so it doesn't freak out. To a VBox container. Thank you. The grid is just not having a good time right now because we didn't set this to the 5 required columns. Okay? And then we're going to create an HBox container. As this will be the last row in the list. And I think this one here, I'm just going to transform container sizing, expand. Yep. So this will just be our spacer here. I'm going to call this the specials row. This will be the main grid. And then this will just be the keyboard. The thing is, the sizing of this is a little bit off. I don't know how we fix that. Layout. Yeah, because I think now it's just being dictated by the size of this. Not particularly great, but I think we can still make this work. Yeah, those look lined up enough. Do that. Go into the keyboard. Set to the current ratio. And we just reassembled our keyboard. Yay! That took forever. The power of UI. Now I just need to create a custom script for you. Attach script. Let's gonna try and create a new UI thing. I don't particularly like that. Scripts, UI. Or I guess we could just put it here under the ʔaʃaʃat thing, right? Yeah. ʔaʃaʃat. Keyboard. Create. Namespace, indexing your heart.u. Thankfully, I managed to figure out how to get Writer and Visual Studio to stop using scripts in the namespace. Never like it when it does that. It's like, well, it's lowercase and everything else is uppercase. Why do you do this? Okay. So, all we need to do now is just public delegate void key pressed event handler string key code. Declare this as our signal. We don't need the system bit. Also, where did my copyright header go? Oops. File template. Save file as template. Header. Today is the 4th. Yep. 08. And the name of this file is ʔaʃaʃat keyboard. Thank you. Okay. I don't need all that information like that. Okay, so we need to grab all of the children in the main grid. So we need to do var main grid is keyboard, or no, we do get node. Main grid. Now we got to do for each yeah, var node in main grid dot children. Yep. Okay. Now if node dot name stars, no, really? Huh. GD dot stars string. Oh, because it's a string name. That'd be y to string dot starts with. There we go. Empty. Continue. Because we're not going to care. ʔaʃaʃat key. Key is ʔaʃaʃat key of node. Though it is ʔaʃaʃat virtual, yeah, because the virtual one, because the enum is the one that's called the other one. That probably made no sense to anyone, but bear with me. Var, no. Key dot key pressed plus equals key code emit signal key signal name dot key pressed key code. All right, we're doing it, and that's all that we need to do here for the main grid. And then we just need to do the same thing for the. We can actually move this into a method, private void. Attach key listener to children node node thank you, node child or parent, yeah, like that, and then just change this to parent. And then attach key listener to children main grid. Attach key listener to children for the same thing here. Var specials row is get node. Whoops. Specials row. Specials row or parent dot name. Wait, why are you checking the parent? You want to check the node, yeah. Or node dot name is spacer. Node. For each node, yep. Looking good. Use explicit type. Yep, very good. Okay. Because we don't care about the types of these. It's only for UI layout purposes. I think what I'm going to do is, this is going to be silly, but GD print key was pressed. Oh, you know, that's not going to actually let me do anything with that. Key code. Yeah? Yeah. gd.print key code was pressed. Okay. So now let's just run this scene and see how this goes. Dun, 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 dun. looking at the console there. Yeah, we are relaying the keys. I still don't quite understand why when the key is pressed it keeps the blue, but yep, cool. We did it. The keyboard is keyboarding. You can tell from the console down there. Excellent. Now the only thing to do after that would be to write tests, but I don't want to do that yet. I'll probably do that throughout the week. So as to not bore everyone. Da, 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 da. Yes, IOH 49. Recreate keyboard modularly. It didn't like that. Keyboard. Okay. Commit that. I'll worry about pushing later. Urgh. Commit contains problems. Yeah, I know. So I guess now that we got that figured out, I think the next thing is we should probably do the numpad after that, which I think is a little simpler, possibly. Yeah, it should, I think. So let's go on ahead and do that as well. So the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create a new node, new file. Yes, I'm doing it inside of here because I'm not going to kerfuffle myself like I did a moment ago. Shot number, just the numpad. Okay. Yes. Declare it as a partial and control. Okay, and we are all set there. So now we just kind of need to recreate the same thing we did before. Right. I need to remember how the numpad worked. These things are slightly different, but it's basically the same thing, just with numbers now instead of keys. I don't remember where I stored this. Components UI? Yes, okay. So we have our numpad, and we have 6 keys available to us. This one doesn't really matter in terms of the other one, because the ʔaʃaʃat key actually does kind of matter as a separate thing. This one I think we can just include inside of here. Enum numpad key, right? Because we're just going to have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and then return. That's the major bits. Oh? Do you not like that? What did we do wrong? Cannot access internal class. Why do you have that imported? Did I... What? Unexpected token. Okay, that was weird. Oh, do you not like the number? Ah, you don't like the number. Okay, you can't use numbers in your thing. Important note. Why is that? I have no clue. Um, I wonder if can we like reuse the no. Where was it that we defined this? Virtual ʔaʃaʃat key? Yeah. Because we have this internal struct. I wonder if we can simply reuse that. Well, I mean, we're only using it in 2 spots. I don't think it's going to be that bad if we just reuse it. Probably not. Just going to do that for now. Private void key textures. Whoa. No. R key textures, thank you. Get textures for key. Numpad key. Right? Okay. Great. And I think we just got to do the same thing again. No. No? Okay. Calling for another quick short break because I need to go use the restroom real quick. So, we'll be back in a moment. is the camera? There's the camera. Great. We're back. Alrighty. Let us see what we can do. We're gonna need to do something for that. Private string get texture name for key, numpad key is key switch. All right, so 1 numpad key dot 1 to be let me check. How did we name these in here? Oh, that's lovely. Why did we do that? Number active. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Yep. Numpad key dot 2. Remember, I think this one's 2, right? Yeah, that one's 2. So that is slash. Oh, that's right. Okay, okay. Did that to conserve resources. Or numpad key dot 16, and then return is it's gonna be the just return from before. Okay, I need to explain myself because yeah, this one's a little bit more complicated. I forgot. So I'm gonna pull up a notepad here so we can take a look at this. So one moment while I do that. Load up a new OneNote thing. Right. Okay. Please give me a window. Thank you. Okay. So just a quick primer as to how the numbering system works. If I draw here, is it gonna... No. Okay. Right, okay. So I need to move this to the easel so I can actually draw it. Because I have that mode re-enabled again. So, as I had mentioned before, this basically works like a 5-bit binary string. Right? Because you have your 1's value, your 2's value, your 4's value, 8's value, and then your 16's value. Now, the way that this is represented here is that this is your 1's value, your 2's value, your 4's value, your 8's value, and then your 16's value. So if you wanted to, say, write the number 5, for example, the way that this works is, well, get out of here. In binary, you would just say, okay, so nothing in the 16, nothing in the 8, 1 ticked for 4, nothing for 2, and then that, right? So this is 5. Similarly, you would do the same thing here, except where a 1, or where it looks like a 1 or a straight line is, you would just replace it with a dot. So it's a dot, nothing for the 2, a dot, nothing for the 8, nothing for the 16. And that is basically how you write the exact same thing using the numbering system. Now, the reason why I'm like, oh, this is going to be a little bit more complicated is because the fact that now these keys have two different states, right? It's either the off state or the on state, as indicated by this key here. So the important thing to know with that is that the pressed key, I think, is a little bit different now. Or we're going to have to swap out textures entirely for keys that we know are pressed. Because otherwise we're not going to be able to know that that specific key was pressed. So the numpad does kind of have some logic inside of it to know what number you're typing. Kind of a little complicated, but that's the gist of it. So that's why I was like, oh, I completely forgot about that. And I was like, what is the active thing? Oh, it's because those are the ones that are actually pressed. So now we need to figure out how to actually get it to say active. That's going to be fun. Now, out of easel mode, back to the main mode, so we can get back to this. So let's do that real quick, because we're going to need to figure that part out. So far, I'm just mapping the ones in their off state. So then we need to get string texture name is get texture name for key. Now this is going to be the tricky bit. Right, so switch on the key. Because we know for return, it's going to be a special case. Return a new key textures in which the normal is going to be resources, GUI, keyboard, return, normal, and then we just do the same thing again for what? Focused, yep. Res, resources, if I can type, resources, GUI, keyboard, return, focus, and then pressed. Thank you. Res, resources, GUI, keyboard, return, press. Default case will be to return new key textures. Normal being res, resources, GUI, numpad, followed by texture name, normal, PNG. Focus is just going to be the same story, except we just change you to say focus. And then the same thing for pressed. Or in this case, it's just press. Yeah, okay. And then just to make sure this is taken care of, Put that in for string interpolation, and we're good. Yeah, that works too. Cool. So now we have that. Now we need to get a thing for, yeah, private key textures. Get active textures. It's just going to be a new key textures. Right. Normal is res. Resources GUI numpad. Number active normal. Focused is very similar. Res resources GUI numpad. Number active focus. Pressed is the same thing. Res resources GUI numpad number active press. Okay, we got that going. Method is never used. We know. In this case, we can make it static because it's not going to rely on anything inside. Okay, great. I think we can do the same for you too. Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. Do the same thing here because it's not relying on anything internally. Okay. So that's fun. Ba -ba 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 -ba. Yep, okay. So how did we do this before, I wonder? Let me check the code. Input. Numpad. Mapping internal value. I see. Okay. We did some weird stuff. That's what I got out of that. So I guess in that case, what we need to do is we kind of need to do a very similar thing. So do that. So we're going to do a private button key 1, private button key 2, private button key 4, private button key 8, private button key 16, and then private button key return. Those are all the keys on the numpad. So then let's, key 1 is get node button. I think we'll just reuse the same names for now. And then likewise, I'm not going to touch anything with this, unlike the keyboard. Because things can get a little weird. Instead, we're just going to attach our existing script and call it a day. I don't want to touch any of that. Nuh-uh. All right, we're good. We are attached. So that's good. So we can now do the same thing. Key 2 is get node button key 2. Side note, I really like that Godot support is now like more or less built into Writer, and like I can actually grab the names of resources and stuff with like autocomplete instead of having to go back and forth. I think that's really nice. I remember when that wasn't so much of a thing and you had to get like a separate extension for it. But good to see that it's now being supported natively. I know that they also had like support for Unreal and Unity, but I don't use those, so it's like, whatever. Okay, and then key return is get node button key return. So that's all that set up. Oh yeah, then we need to create an assign text. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to just do it inside of here. Struct key textures. Well, we could stick this in UI, because this isn't specific to UI controls. Add public string normal, public string pressed. Oh, I did not say. You really like making things private when they shouldn't be. I don't know why. So now we just got to do using indexing your heart dot UI, so we can remove the internal structure. And we just got to do the same thing for the other one. But anyways, public class. Oh, couldn't we just do a public void assign to control? It should work, I think. We also need to using Godot there, so it knows what we're talking about. Right, okay. So texture style is new style box texture. Normal texture style dot texture is gd dot load texture 2D normal control dot set should be in here, right? Yep, to normal texture style, and then I should probably assign style box textures to control like that, and then we should be good. Now we're just going to do the same thing again. Var pressed texture style is new style box texture norm. Whoop. Press texture style dot texture gd dot load texture 2D pressed control dot set theme override styles press texture style, and then finally var focused texture style is new style box texture. Focused texture is gd dot load texture 2D focused control dot set theme override styles focus to focused texture style. Yep, okay, great. So then all we need to do is, we don't even need to worry about that. So then we can say, key textures, oh, you're still importing there. I think we need to refactor that out. Where is that coming from? Virtual ʔaʃaʃat key? Yep. So we can get rid of you. It's going to freak out. Using index in your heart, UI. Okay. So then we can just, I think literally we can just change this part, I think, right? Yeah. And then all we need to do is key textures dot assign to control this. And I think that's literally all that needs to be done here. So what is your magic suggestion? Yes, do that. Cool. So that boiled that down a little bit. Love it. Okay. So now we need to do the same thing here. Even though these are, well, they are kind of already all set, so I guess that was kind of pointless. No, not entirely, because we still need to handle the active case. Right. That's what we need to do. Okay. Let me take a quick moment here. Hello? How do I say that? Mateo BKN, I think? I don't know. I'm not good with username pronunciations. How's the game going? We have keyboard. We're working on the numpad. Numpad's a little bit more complicated than the keyboard because we're working with basically a binary number and we need to display what bits are active and which ones aren't. So it's a little bit easier said than done, but so far we're getting the hang of it. It's like that. The pronunciation is a little different. Oh, okay. I was close. I was close. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay. Also, hello, Aton. I think I saw you post a little bit earlier, too. But then it mysteriously disappeared. I don't know. YouTube sometimes does that. I was a... Like, story time. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. I do watch another live streamer on YouTube, ASDF. Currently, he's just making a lot of Portal mod content, so, like, he plays a bunch of Portal maps and stuff. Yeah, there was this, like, one time we were watching this one mod or whatever, and there was a person that was, like, talking and stuff. And then, like, towards the end of the stream, all of his messages just magically disappeared out of nowhere. And we're like, what's going on? Like, did he go and delete them? Or... It was, like, the weirdest thing. And, like, we confirmed that, like, he didn't go back and delete it. The moderator system didn't flag it or anything. Like, they just disappeared. It was the strangest thing. So, like, I won't be surprised if messages just randomly start disappearing at this point. It is strange. Anyway, side tangent over. What's the game about? So it is a puzzle game where, and It is a puzzle game where the main gist of it is you're learning a constructed language, or Conlang, that I designed. And there's also a little bit of story elements in here as well. So there's going to be like a lot of themes about identity, self-discovery, that sort of thing. The story isn't completely fleshed out as of right now. I only have the preamble written because I'm focusing most of the effort towards, well, one, migrating this over to .NET, but also the other part, which is the puzzles themselves, because that's kind of like the meat and beans of this, or meat and potatoes of this, is the puzzles themselves. The story is kind of on the side, but it's also meant to be more integrated into it. So it's just a matter of just balancing that out. So like I said, right now the main focus is porting over the prototype, so that way I can get this to run on Windows. Previously it was Mac only, or iPad only, or iPhone only, but basically if you had an Apple device you could run it. If you were using a Windows system, Linux system, you're out of luck. Porting it to .NET instead of Swift will allow me to let this run on Windows and stuff, because like I'm obviously using Windows right now, so I'm gonna be able to develop the game on Windows. So once that's done, I could push out a new prototype that works on Windows and Linux and everything's gonna be all nice. So yeah, there's a whole long story as to why I did that, but anyway, let's see here. He could get banned. ASDF did check that. He did not get banned or anything. The messages just straight up disappeared. Like, it was just a glitch in the system. It was weird. So we're just chalking it up to, like, maybe YouTube did something weird. Like, maybe it did, like, a timeout or something and was like, oh, well, we don't recognize this user in the chat. Delete everything. I don't know why you do that. It's a little boneheaded. Surprised you don't get at least 100 subs. I mean, to be fair, I think most of that is because when I started live streaming, I was live streaming more of the Playdate development content, which I'm taking a break from right now because things are just kind of slowing down. It's not really fun to watch compared to this, I think. This, I think, is a lot more interesting because you're seeing a lot more things in real-time results, and it's like you're actually seeing a game being formed versus the Playdate stuff. We were like spending hours just writing parsers, which, not gonna lie, that's not really fun content to watch. So I've decided to just take that one offline and just finish developing that like in my own time. And focusing more of the streaming energy towards this. And I think the other major change that is also helping with this is I'm not time boxing myself to only develop the game during streaming time. So that kind of helps a lot. Like, these streams are nice to kind of help give insight into how the sausage is being made, but you're not only seeing me make the sausage on stream, if that makes sense. So like in the background, I'll write unit tests, or I'll try to refactor some code, or I'll work on other parts of the game that may not be necessary for streams, or maybe just other things and whatnot. So like at least I'm not limiting myself that way. So I think, yeah, in terms of these subscriptions, I think like just kind of in terms of a self-reflection kind of thing, I did feel like I shot myself in the foot with doing Playdate exclusive content for the first 6 months, basically. Why don't you make a Discord for your projects? Okay. We're gonna go on a side tangent here. Let me just blur the screen real quick. Because again, I don't want to do a lore lie again. That's where we're gonna call what happened the last stream that you can no longer watch. The main thing is, unfortunately, the Discord server is not very active right now. It actually used to be the server specifically for another game I made called Unscripted that I just then expanded, but I will drop a link here if I can find it. Invite people? I know I have it somewhere. Oh, you know what? I know where I can get it. I did it this way. Yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah, I just don't advertise this a lot. I probably should advertise it more, but um there we go. If you're curious, there is a created by Marcus Kurt Discord server. Um, you put invite people, then it has a link. Yeah. So the thing is I have a permanent invite link. It's just I forgot. I forgot what it was. Because I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can also just do theoretically, and it will automatically redirect you, but I don't really use this link as often because it's like, well, it's not a Discord link. People are not going to automatically recognize it. So, you know, anyway, hopefully maybe we'll get more activity on the Discord front, but we'll see. Yeah. Anyways, I guess let's see what we can do about the numpad problem. So let's hop back into that real quick. So key one, yeah, right. So we need to assign the key textures for this. Key textures, one key, I guess, is get textures for key. Ooh, numpad key 1. And then we're just going to do one key dot assign to control key 1, like that. And then we're just going to do the same thing for all the others. 2 key is get textures for key. Numpad key dot 2 key dot assign to control key 2, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's probably a way that I could automate this so I'm not having to constantly repeat myself while doing this, but I don't know. Let's get textures for key numpad key 4. Key textures, no. 4 key dot assign to control key 4. Textures 8 key is get textures for key numpad key dot 8. 8 key dot assign to control key 8. Key textures 16 key is get textures for key 16. 16 key, no. There we go. Dot assign key 16. And then we just do for return as well. Get textures for key numpad key dot 16? No, not 16. Return. And then return dot assign. Not this. Oh, what am I doing? Key return. Okay. And then that should handle that. Could you make the text bigger? Okay, yeah, no worries. I only made it a little bit smaller because of the fact that, like, I wasn't able to see it in Visual Studio, just, like, handles spacing very weird, but I forgot that, like, since I'm using Writer, that should not be a problem. So I think if I just do presentation mode and get out of full screen. That should be better. Text bigger or like a very recognizable icon. Oh, in the thumbnails. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I need to change the way that this works. Settings. Because I think 175 is a little too big for this. Not gonna lie. Appearance. Presentation mode. Set this to 150 instead. 150 is a little better. Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the thumbnails. Because, like, this particular stream was the first one that I actually did a custom one, and not just a generic one, but... Yeah, I mean, I could look into it. The only thing is I'm locked to preset sizes because it's a pixel font. So, like, trying to do it at, like, half points just makes it look really bad. And the other restriction is that pixel font works best for multiples of 9. So, like, 9, 18, 27, so on and so forth. So, otherwise it just looks really weird. So that's also another thing that I have to consider too. So it's just a matter of just kind of balancing it out. But yeah, I suppose that could probably help too. Anyways, where were we? Yes, the numpad. So we're probably going to need to keep track of the current value, I think. Private var, private int current value. I'm just going to set it to be 0. And the way that this works is do we want a signal for whenever the key is automatically pressed, or do we just want to wait until the person hits the return button? I mean, we could probably have both. Worst case scenario is like we can just remove one. Key pressed event handler. Int current value. Mark you as a signal. And then do another signal. Public delegate void. Well, I mean, the return key is technically a key, so... but we kind of need to delineate, because otherwise, like, if you can't just treat pressing the one key as... Yeah, okay. So we need to say numpad returned, I guess. Int final value. That's what we'll do. So then what we can do is... And the only thing I need to figure out is how do we... Okay, let me look at the original source code for this. How are we determining what exactly? Internal value, try connect, and then we just emit a signal for returned internal value to variant. Okay, yeah, I mean that part, that should be straightforward. Key return dot pressed. Right, because then we can just say emit signal, signal name. I don't know why you decided to do that. Numpad return followed by our current value. That's not going to be a problem. I think the problem is going to be when we're going through this. For key in mapping clear, key button pressed is false. Are these toggle buttons by any chance? Toggle mode. Okay, not those ones, but let me look. Key 1. So it is a toggle mode. Okay, so the toggle keys we should be okay with. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, and that's why we use button pressed. There. That makes sense. That makes sense. Key 1 dot pressed. So we'll create a delegate there. So what we're going to do is current value is key 1 dot pressed. Yep. So if it's pressed, we take the number. If it's already pressed, remove the number. Yeah, okay. So we do 1, otherwise we're going to do -1. And then we're going to emit the signal for signal name, key pressed. Okay, I don't know why writer keeps trying to do that. That's not what we want. And then we just repeat this a few more times. Oh, you know what? This is supposed to be plus equals, not, yeah. So 2, 2, key 2 dot pressed. This will be key 4, key 8, key 16. But also this needs to be key 2. Okay. Key 8. Actually, wait a minute. This should be key 4. 4, 4, 8, 8, and 16, 16. Right? Yes. Key 8, key 8, and then this is key 16. Key 16. Okay. That should do the trick there. We can always check whenever the signal's being pressed there. Yeah, actually, I think we can do that right now. Key pressed plus equals value to be gd.print new value to be value, and then we just do that, right? Yeah, so that'll make things a little bit easier for us. Okay, yeah, so then now the question is, I don't know what happens when oh, I see, that's how you work. Oh, yeah, you know, that makes sense. Because that's going to be the pressed state. So that's a none problem. Okay. Because they're toggle buttons. Building. Okay. Let's run the current scene. Again, I don't know what's up with the delay thing there and why it thinks it wants to remain pressed, but new value 1, 3, 19. Yep, because we did 1, 2, and 16. Okay. New value 17, new value 1. So if we do them all together, it should be 31. Yeah, that's still very weird that there's a weird delay on that. I don't know why that is. Okay, cool. Very cool. So that means that this is, in fact, working. So that's another thing that we got figured out. Oh, I forgot presentation mode hides the things. Gah. Appearance, exit. Thank you. Okay. Go back to the thing there. Yep, okay. So, IOH 49. Port. Numpad. Over. Commit. Wowee. Okay. So that helps. So we got the numpad, we got the keyboard. Virtual key is done. So now I think we just gotta create text fields. And then that should be everything for the inputs for this game, right? I think so. We will see. Okay. The only thing is that one's a little bit more complicated. I think this is where we're defining it. Yeah. Puzzle point. Oh, these are probably for other specific things. Keyboard puzzle. Yeah, so we got to work with this, I think. Right? Yeah, I think this part's it. Yeah. I think in the original code they were a bit more separated, but okay. Good to know. Okay. Let me... Oh, there's Ryder. Okay. Cool. Let me take the opportunity real quick to take a look at chat again, see if anything has popped. Starting to make a roguelike. Roguelikes are fun. I remember this game was initially going to be an RPG mixed with a visual novel, but that didn't quite pan out. It devolved into something else. So I'm making a camera border. Oh, wow. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Man, Mateo's over here hyping me up with extra visuals. I'm bored. Yeah, that's a mood. Some of this stuff isn't necessarily the fun bits, but you know, sometimes you gotta go through the sludgy, boring bits before you can get to the more fun things. Because at some point I do want to revisit actually doing the puzzles. I need to blur this again. See, now ever since I did a Lorelei the last stream, I am now very paranoid about every time I open up OneNote on stream. Sometimes you gotta close the door, open a window. Yeah. Yep. So like you can see here, I was planning out some of the stuff for colors. Put that back to main so you can actually see it. So yeah, I mean, I want to get back to planning these. And only thing is, what was I saying? Yeah, so I haven't touched this in a long while, other than like me moving this over from GoodNotes on my iPad to OneNote on here, but that's not really doing much with it. So like at some point I do want to revisit like actually making the puzzles and stuff. I just never had gotten to it because I still need to port this all over so that way I can actually create everything else. Like you can see, like I do have some other puzzles here cooking. I just haven't revisited them in a while. So like this one here shows colors. The challenging bit with this one is you kind of need to find a way to be able to make sure that you can differentiate without necessarily knowing what the color is. Only because like if say you're using a grayscale filter or you're colorblind or something, you may not be able to tell the difference between two different colors, even though like on the actual wall or whatever, it'll say it's a different color. Like you won't be able to tell just from looking at it, right? Because like you can see all of these are cubes. You're not going to be able to tell what color is what from that. So like that's why I kind of have these like suggestions around here of like things that would be of the color that have unique shapes to help kind of be like, oh yeah, okay, that's an apple. Apples are typically red, so it's got to be red or something like that. But it's a bit more challenging than that. But there's also like other things that I need to include in here, such as the combinations and whatnot. But yeah, it's a little bit on the tricky side. So I haven't touched this in a while. Once we get through all of that bit, we can go back to planning puzzles and actually making them. So we will see. But for now, we got to port everything over. So I guess first thing we need to do is make a puzzle keyword thingy. So I guess we will just include that in here. I'm just going to call this a puzzle text field for now. I think that would be appropriate. Using Godot, right? It's going to be of type control. And let's attach that now. So we go to scripts, UI, puzzle text field, load. That was going to be fun having to write all the tests for this later. Normally I do test-driven development, but again, that's not necessarily fun to watch. So, you know. So we have that set. So I know we're going to need the text label for one thing. Label, text label. We're also going to need to control the current text. And then we also need to access the keyboard. Keyboard, like that. Let's just make this region real quick, just so that way I can collapse it more easily. And region, like so. collapsible. And then we also need to make sure to make this a partial class, otherwise Godot will freak out. Override. Ready. And then we will do text label is get node label, which will be, it's not inside of there. It is panel container, I think. Yeah, it should be panel container text label. Okay, and then our keyboard is get node keyboard to be vstack keyboard make grid right there. Okay, so that is set up for us. So then we just kind of need to make our own private void process key input string key code. That will be important. So we'll need to do keyboard dot key pressed plus equals process key input, like that. So then we can process the key input inside of here, which will be important. So that way we can control adding it. Oh, do I have the font for that in here? That might be important to grab. Yes, the ʔaʃaʃat font is in fact in there. Okay, cool. So for now, we're just going to switch on the key code. Case ʔaʃaʃat key dot a. You know, we're probably going to need to find a way to cast them back, I think. Yeah, okay. Is that a thing you can do? Enum initializer? Let's see. There's bit flags, enum constraint. No? Okay. So we're probably gonna have to do something else for that then. Because these are all specific to the key. Public static class ʔaʃaʃat key utils, I guess. And then public static void, or no, ʔaʃaʃat key. Key from key code, string key code is key code switch. Throw new argument exception. Key code not recognized, I guess. I think. Right? Arrow. Like that. Right, because I think key codes are just what? ʔaʃaʃat key underscore something? Yeah, okay. Like this. It's gonna be a little awkward to do though. I mean, better than nothing, I suppose. E key I key I U U. Let me just do these. Whoa, thank you. This is going to be long. P. Again, I'm sure there's probably a smarter way I can do this, but off the top of my head, I don't know what that is. Okay. To be okay. It should be a lowercase. Key N. Thankfully, I don't have to do this for the numpad. Okay. Now, what is the key value for objective K? Right. Because it just uses the key value. E. Glottal. Okay. Repeater is this. And then we have our duplicant. And I think return and delete don't actually have anything. Yeah, okay, so that's a slight problem. So we do need to change this bit of code for a quick second. So key switch. Take this bit. Like that. Delete. Return. Okay. Glad we caught that one for bugs. Key delete. Return. Okay, there we go. Great. So now we can grab that. Where is there an error? Oh. That should not be there. Okay, great. So then we can say key is going to be ʔaʃaʃat key utils dot key from key code key code. Okay, great. So then we can just simply switch on the key. Like that. Great. So the default behavior will be to just add current text dot or plus equals key value only assignment call increment. Oh, I'm doing a switch expression, that's why. Yeah. That explains a lot. Current text plus equals key value. There. Alrighty. And then, oh, that's also something we need to keep track of too. Current rendered text as well. Current rendered text plus equals key font rendered value. Okay. Now, was that the only case? I think there's only a few special cases that we have to worry about with these. Input, is it the keyboard interpreter itself? No, I think it's something else. Form controls. Probably this. If I were to guess. Case delete, return, default. Okay. Because we do send some signals. For some reason. I don't remember why we did that. I don't know. I mean, we're kind of just redoing this instead of copying that. Okay, so this will cover most of the cases. Delete, break. I need to put case in front of that. Okay, great. Why you... I guess it doesn't like me not being exhaustive. Oh well. Current text is current text dot ends with, starts with trim end from the current string. So then I guess we could do key value. And current text is current text dot trim end key font rendered value. Rendered. Oh, candidates are trim end cannot resolve trim end string. What does trim end take then? Trim end removes all trailing white space characters. Oh. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. No. That's the wrong method. Current text dot... Do we not have like a suffix thing? Trim suffix. That's what we want. Yes, okay. Key value. And then current rendered text is current rendered text dot trim suffix Okay, so we probably need to keep a history as well, because otherwise we're not going to be able to know what key was done. Yeah, okay. We can do that, I think. List ʔaʃaʃat key, and then we need to import that as well. Using system collections generic. Okay. Make an empty list. Right? Yes. And then key history dot add the current key. Okay? Last, whoa, why am I doing that? Var last key is key history dot remove all, remove at, draw, no, last, there's take last. We're gonna need to do the same thing. Okay. Okay. One moment, we need to do that. Public static t remove last t this list t list. Okay. T last item is list at list dot count -1. Okay. List dot remove at list dot count -1. Return last item. Use index from end expression? What does this mean? Whoa. Yo. That's kind of spooky. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Cool. I guess that works too. Var most recent key is key history dot remove last. Okay. So we change this to be most recent key and then most recent key. Okie dokes. And then I think that should cover it. Hopefully. I don't know. We will see. Right, and then when we do these things, we need to actually update the labels. Update labels. So current rendered text. No. What we need to do, actually, I don't think we need a separate method for this. We can just put it after here. Right? So we have our text label. Text is our current rendered text, and then that should be it, I think. Right? Right? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Building. Alrighty. Let's see what happens. Script inherits control, so it can't be assigned to an object of type node. What? Oh, because right now it's missing node, not an actual control. Yeah, that would explain a lot. Correct, please. Thank you. Building. Nothing is happening. Oh, hold on. We're getting a debugger thing going on here. System invalid call. Invalid cast exception. Unable to cast type object. Godot VBox container to type ʔaʃaʃat keyboard. What? Unable to cast VBox container to ʔaʃaʃat keyboard. Why? Why do you not like that? It is of that type. It's a little odd. I don't think we actually ever had this problem before. Right? You are inheriting VBox container. So, right, and we're calling on you. Keyboard get node vstack hstack keyboard. Now, why is it that you cannot do what I want? Do we just need to delete and then reinsert the keyboard, maybe? I mean, you can do that. Stick keyboard, please. Be kind. Maybe? I don't know. Okay. Godot's weird. Godot's weird. Okay, let me check chat real quick to see what's going on. Almost finished the border. Oh, you did. I'm guessing you sent it here. Yeah, okay. Give me a minute. Let me take a look and see what's going on. Let me pop that down below. Okay. I see. Yeah, I'll have to think about it a little bit because there is a particular style that I want to go for. Though I appreciate the effort. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to think about it. Okay, well, this part, I know that's going to start freaking out because it's like, oh, the list is empty, right? Yeah. So we need to add a clause in here for that. So if the key history is empty, so what I'm just going to do is just that, if key history dot any return. Thank you. Okay. Use count instead of any. I like how Visual Studio is like, oh, you should be using any for this. And Writer's like, no, you should be saying key count mine is equal to 0. Okay. Whatever. I'm not going to complain. So I guess that means now we have a functioning keyboard. Now let's see if I can actually type the language name here. ʔaʃaʃat. Nice. And then if we were to subtract from this, okay, it is kind of freaking out there a little bit. I don't know why that is. That's a little bit spooky. Key history count, return. There may be something else I just got to do here. Possibly. Maybe. Okay, let's try to do that. Maybe. See if that works. What's the... Alright, see you. I'll be around on the Discords. We could talk there for that. But, take care. Okay, let's see here. ʔaʃaʃat. Okay, that's fine. You know what? Maybe it's interpreting the return key as something. That might be it. Case ʔaʃaʃat key dot return. I'm just going to put a break on that. We should probably emit a signal for this too. Public delegate void. Text field returned event handler. And then string final text. And then we can say that this is a signal. Emit signal. Signal name dot. Why did you do that? Why do you keep doing that? Stop it. Thank you. Okay, that should work out. So that's one less thing to worry about. And I think we also need to say here, current text is this, current rendered text is this, and then text label dot text is this. Right? Okay. So we got that. So far, it's looking correct. That signal would normally be emitted, but I forgot to add a thing. Though we can tell that at least the key was pressed there, so there's that. Okay, T gone, A gone. SH, for some reason, is not there anymore. I don't understand why that is. Huh. That's really strange. Trim suffix. Okay. We're going to have to put a breakpoint on that to see why it's acting the way it's acting. And I think in order for this to work, we need to launch the editor from here. This way. I think. This is the first time I've done this, so we'll see. I don't know why the debug shows up there. I want the debug to be there. We good? We're loading. There we go. Okay. I got worried there for a second. Thank you. Okay. Let's run the current scene. And hopefully this will allow me to debug this properly. the breakpoint didn't hit. Interesting. I don't know why that is. Well, that's not good. Okay. There's probably something a little bit more to that I need to do. I think I may need to do the player thing. So let's try that instead. I thought that by doing it through the editor it would attach, but I guess not. I guess I don't understand how this works. Okay, fine. Project settings. We need to change the startup scene. Where do you go for that again? I think it's under run. Main scene, yep. Keyboard puzzle. Close. Okay. I'm just gonna save real quick. Now let's go here to the player and then debug. Try that instead. Okay. Okay, here we go. So let's take a look at our key history, if we can. I'm gonna collapse you. We don't need to worry about you right now. Main thread. Okay, so this, fine. Where is key history? Is it under current scene, maybe? No? There's key code. Most recent key, okay, we know, is T. So that's fine. So step over. Step over. Right, so now it's ʔaʃaʃat. We break out of the loop. We reassign the rendered text. And we keep going with our lives. Okay, hit the delete key again. So our most recent key is A. That is correct. So remove that. So current text is now ʔaʃaʃat. Okay. And then we do the same thing again. Right, so current rendered text is now ʔaʃaʃat. Reset the current text. So that part's correct. One more time. Current text, removing the key value, ʔaʃaʃat, or no, just ʔaʃa. Okay. Do it again. Oh, okay. So it's here. It's here that we're tripping up. Because, oh, we're using key value here and not font rendered value. That would be why. So I bet now, if we were to do this, it should work. Right? That's how we do it. Okay. Glad we got that figured out. Man, that was A+ for debug. Remember, kids, debuggers are your friend. Except when they're not, but we ignore that. So, oh, right, I need to go back to the project settings to reset this again to be world. Okay, cool. Cool beans. So the text field works correctly for the most part. We didn't test the return thing, but I think that we can easily test with just a simple text field returned value to just be gd.print value, like that. Yeah, you do that. And so if we were to go to the console, there we are, right there. Nice. We did it. Okay. So that did exactly what we wanted, and then I think there's one other thing we need to do for the keyboard. Let me do that real quick. Forgot to remove the key pressed logging here. Just to remind myself on that. For that one, we're good. Then we got to do the same thing for you. Okay. Now, there is this numpad puzzle. I don't know what the purpose of this is. Oh, I'm guessing the current value gets put out here. My guess. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool means I'm already in the self mode because I forgot to take myself off. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking we're gonna do. I'm not particularly time boxed today to end at a specific time. But I am noticing that the weather's starting to get not so great right now. And apparently we're expected to get some heavy rain. So I'm gonna have to call it soon just because I don't want the stream or whatever to get knocked out or whatever due to weather conditions. So, I think what I'm going to do for safety purposes is to just call it here. I'll probably do this numpad stuff offline as well. And then I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing next week. I think, let me check the roadmap here. We might end up doing this world glue logic where we're starting to piece everything together from all the little bits. So that would be like actually checking puzzle inputs and then from there triggering specific things, saving and loading and all that other fun stuff. This one's a Gigundo ticket, more or less. So I think that's probably what we'll end up doing the next couple streams, and then hopefully by the end of that point we'll actually have finished the port. We can release a new version for Windows or whatever, and then from there we can continue making the game instead of just writing porting. So yeah, okay. I think that is a more or less solid roadmap. I think. we'll see how it goes. So with that in mind, if you enjoyed today's stream, feel free to like the VOD or whatever. Be sure to subscribe so you know the next time that I do a stream. For Indexing Your Heart streams, it's usually every Sunday at 1 Eastern, or 1300 Eastern, if you use 24-hour time like I do. And yeah, until then, take care. Happy coding.